morning. Namaste. Sawadika. I'm Shobha Vaishnav from the Global Initiative Against HIV and Cervical Cancer, GIAC. Thank you for joining our session on the World Within Cervical Cancer to Try Spotlight. Just a quick note that we are going to focus on cervical cancer elimination and vaccine in girls only because that is the anticipated first steps of the government here. So why India? Well, it is the most populous country in the world. It has a population of about 1.5 billion. Of course, these are approximate numbers. And very low screening rates are active, so almost 1.9%. So you can only imagine that one woman is dying every 7 minutes counts. But the good news is that if India succeeds, there will be a 20 to 25% drop in the global burden of cervical cancers on account of that. So let's look at some approximate numbers here. Those who are aged between the ages of 9 and 14 were primed for the HPV vaccine, 59.2 million girls. So every year there's a delay in vaccinating. That many more unnecessary deaths probably preventable against family. Women at risk for getting cervical cancer for 15 years and older, 511 million. Women between the ages of 35 to 45 who are WHO screening targets, nearly 200 million, and only 1.9% of them are being screened. And this was an eye-opener to me. The youth population between the ages of 18 and 35 is 600 million. That is nearly equal to twice the entire population of the United States or the entire population of Southeast Asia. And these are young people. They are creative, they have tech savvy, they come from all walks of life, like men, school teachers, bankers, members of the HIV community, LGBTQI+ community, and what a perfect force they would be to spread awareness. Maybe through a digital campaign, like Screen the Mother, vaccinate the child. Right? So here's a map you see. The lives lost and those lived with a disability from cervical cancer, and the numbers are simply stagnated. But once again, the encouraging news is that India has a good track record of very successful campaigns, such as polio eradication, HIV/AIDS, COVID vaccination. So you need them to, let's say, with cervical cancer organizations that will still. Now we all know that awareness and education are very important to launch a good program, and that is how our organization, GAFAC, was actually launched with the help of young leaders. And we quickly learned one thing, or some very important truths. One is communication is not what we say, but what they hear. Communication is not what we say, but what they hear. Parents in the room sound familiar. So listening to the vocals, having a trusted person to talk to a targeted audience that's trying to support with them, such as the right dialect, the right story, and the right tone, keeping in mind gender differences, generational differences, and background differences. For example, we were talking to politicians, yes, talking about cervical cancer, morbidity, mortality is all very appropriate. How about talking in a language that they understand better? Return on investment. For example, WHO estimates for India is $16 return for every $1 spent on adolescent HPV vaccination, and $26 return for women's improved health, lives, families, and society. So, in fact, taking care of women helps everyone in society because women are the backbones of society. Right, men? Small investment goes a long way. So, over the past year, there have been some major campaigns in India for cervical cancer prevention, all the way from the Serum Institute of India to the Rotary Club in Dubai, which actually had a 15,000 kilometers drive in a car called Lal Pari, which means the Red Fairy. And then Tata Trust that launched Khud Se Jeet, which means when from within. To even a jackfruit festival in a small Kerala village called Kanapuram that caught the WHO's attention. So, the jackfruits can save lives. So the HPV, the International HPV Awareness Society and its awareness and campaign thing, we host the International HPV Awareness Day, or IHAD, on March 4th every year, that all of us know, right? But if you look at this heat map, you see how much of activity there was in India this year. That just goes to show that there's a tremendous amount of interest. So why not be riding on that momentum, right? Actually, our campaign committee has some excellent educational materials which have already been translated into several languages. So if any one of you here is interested in launching an awareness program or taking your awareness program to the next level, please come and talk to one of us. We would be delighted to collaborate with you. Or even better, you can talk to our queen here, Chris Bansinger, and she'll take care of you. Thank you, Chris. So today we're going to hear from some extraordinary speakers who have extensive amount of knowledge and worked with cervical cancer for India. And while they will give brief overviews, this is basically for any of you who wants to collaborate or what you want to have additional resources to whatever you have already. All the way from crafting messages to training of providers to HPV vaccine advocacy to screening, follow-ups, and treatment, policy, funding, and of course, with our co-moderator extraordinaire, who will leave us with some food for thought in their final comments. So now we know that the World Health Organization has actually marked November 17th as the World Cervical Cancer Elimination Day. Because as we all know, cervical cancer is just not a women's health issue, it's a maternal child health issue, a sexual and reproductive health issue, a social cultural issue, health system integration, policy, political issue, and economic issue, and above all, human rights. Thank you.